Hello and welcome to Finextra. I'm Emily Haller and I'm here with David Hesketh of TradingHub, and we're at Innovate Finance Global Summit. Thank you for joining me.
Pleasure.
Why are startups innovating more than multinational banks?
It's an interesting question. I think that there are many people at banks who are innovative, but the structure of the banks themselves prevents that innovation really being fully capitalised by the bank. So I and many of my colleagues at TradingHub all actually come from the investment banking industry. We were all colleagues at Merrill's, friends from Goldman Sachs. What happens is you get very creative people in a bank, but unfortunately, the longevity might only be 2 or 3 years. They may move on somewhere. It's very difficult to build a project if you have a constant flow in and out of people. And the bank structures are also relatively risk averse. They'd much prefer to pay, I guess, for someone else to do the innovation, and then once that provider, that vendor has got big enough, then they can either use the services or even buy them. I think that's one of the problems, is that there's a huge amount of innovation inside, but the structure prevents them from actually innovating, which is where the startups come in.
And what challenges do startups face when dealing with the banks?
We've had a few. One of the main problems is this problem that an engagement with a bank has to go through several layers of different committees. So, we've presented at board level thinking, great, if we've persuaded half of the board, the global board, then we should get a decision in the next week or so. But what that does is it opens a door to all of the various committees that you have to go through. And with hundreds of stakeholders, it's very difficult to get a decision. And what we found is that even if you get through that layering, you're then faced with questions that are really deemed kind of more suitable, in my view, for incumbents. So things like, what's your balance sheet? How many customers do you have? Now, for a startup, an innovative startup, the two things they don't have are balance sheet and existing customers. We've built up a group of customers by starting doing free analysis for regulators, for example, in the States, and then building up on the buy side, building up some customers, then going in to the sell side and saying, we have now 20 customers and we've analysed billions of pieces of data. But that's the only point at which the sell side are really willing to take you seriously. So it is very difficult.
What's the secret to becoming a trusted provider to banks?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So one of the things that is a real impediment, a hurdle that the startups have to overcome, is that banks generally deal with other large institutions, and they're all authorized entities, or they are audited, or they've gone through various ISOs, so International Standards Organization analysis. So it's very hard for a startup to do all that without the money that comes from a contract to pay for all of that. What I think the best thing you can do is try to do bite-sized pieces. Try to get one customer and use that customer to leverage the next customer. One of the questions that you'll most commonly be asked is, who are your other customers? Make sure you can speak to the customers on a friendly basis and say, look, do you mind if I mention you? It's not in literature or anything, but it would be in a client meeting, because in order to get other clients, they almost herd. And so what they really like is someone that said, yes, I've worked with this person, and they'll get bored by the third or fourth client. You don't need hundreds of clients. That would be the secret special sauce that I think that you should probably start with. And you can start, like I said, doing that free for certain customers, get the credentials, and then, because we're all fintech, make sure that your servers, all of your data is stored incredibly securely. Make sure that you tick every single box there is, multi-factor authentication, your SSL certificates are all 2048 bits, all the catchwords, because those are the things that are going to persuade a bank that they can trust you with their data.
David, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And thank you for watching.